What's up, friends? This is Jazz, bringing you another top countdown video. A lot of these have been 5, I know, but that's kind of my thing now. Today I'm going to talk about what my favorite top 5 Pokemon rivals are. Now, some rules. Well, not even a rule. One change up. This is not going to include just regular rivals, like I'm not saying they aren't included in this list, but it isn't just going to be limited to regular rivals like Blue, like the known rivals. This is going to be who I would consider rivals as well. So, just to make it a little more interesting, because not all main rivals are actually rivals, in my opinion. I'm not going to talk, I'm just going to talk about in ways that I feel that they suit the part. Right? And how they make you develop as a whole and whatnot. So, this is also going to be more segmented than straight through. So, if you hear a bit of a cut, then I apologize. But I want a little more time for each rival to talk about them. So, I will see you guys with number 5. Number 5 on the list is Hugh from Pokemon Black and White. Now, he is the highest on this, lowest on this list, because out of all the ones on my list, he is least memorable in some ways to me. But he has this personality to him that still makes him make the cut for the list. Now, you obviously meet him at the very first of the game, and he has raised a Pokemon, a starter Pokemon from an egg, unlike you just getting your starter Pokemon, whatnot. And he is training his Pokemon for a very important goal. To get back the Purloin he caught for his sister, that was stolen by Team Plasma, you know, from the Pokemon Black and White. Now, he is very memorable, because he just has this edginess to him. He isn't really mean, per se, but he is always negative towards people who do not take care of their Pokemon right, because he is soured by what happened to the Purloin. So anytime a trainer loses track of their Pokemon or something happens there, you should have taken care of it or whatnot. Like at the beginning of the game where you go looking for the Herdier, one of the trainers or one of the breeders were like, they must have just wandered off, where Hugh is all, what do you mean he just wandered off, blah 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 type of, rant. He always does his best against you. He has this personality that he keeps, but he doesn't sour if you beat him. Right? He wants to constantly get stronger to face Team Plasma and protect his Pokemon. He cares about his Pokemon a lot. Let's just say that's something that means the world to him, and he couldn't think of anything happening to him. And that's one thing I really like about that character. He has such love for his Pokemon, right? And he has such devotion on his mission to retrieve the Purloin. And, well, it somewhat works out in the end for him. We'll just say he is a character that is rough on the edges, but you can really feel for his story. And he is also a very good rival to face and is always up to the task. Like, in one point when I was playing Pokemon Black 2 as myself in a Nuzlocke, I lost to his Buffalons. Well, not lost, I lost 2 or 3 to his Buffalons, and alone. And he just has strong Pokemon, he has a strong personality. That is why Hugh is number 5 on the list. Now on to number 4. Number 4 on this list is Wally. Wally specifically from Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. Now, I know you're probably thinking, why do I include Wally on this list if I don't meet all the games he's ever been in? Well, let me explain a little more. In Sapphire, Ruby, and Emerald, Wally is a character who was not really fleshed out. You you help him catch his Pokemon, you battle him once in Mauville and once in Evergrande City. Now, how much more do you know about him through that? Not very much. You know, he was a sickly boy and he's caught some Pokemon, gotten stronger, so forth. But in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, you see him far more to start with. You see him in the irregular appearances in the Ruby and Sapphire, but you also see him in Pearlburg after you beat Norman, and he goes with you all the way back to Mauville. And there he pronounces himself to want to be your rival. You also see him in the aftergame a bit, like the Delta episode. He tries to defend everyone and whatnot in his house. You see him in the Battle Frontier, or Battle Place. Not Battle Frontier, the Battle Island, you know. And he challenges him. You can challenge him many times there. And he gets stronger each time. But just personally, he develops as a person. He also gives you the feel that he became stronger because he wanted to match up to you. And the theme music. Oh my god. That has totally changed from the originals. Like, I just can't get this song out of my head, the da-da-da-da-da-da-da. That just makes you feel that you're facing a true opponent, a true match to you, even though you still beat him. He also has a Mega Gallade. Yes, his evolution changed from those in that. He had a Gardevoir in the prior 3. He ended up getting a Gallade, a Mega Gallade. He's strong enough to master Mega Evolution, is one big thing as well. He feels like a true rival to you, and he isn't like... He's a medium to the too cocky, too tough rivals, and the, let's be friends rivals. He isn't too bleh, or isn't too blah. I know it's a weird comparison, but he just seems like the perfect mix that way. And you're probably wondering, why isn't he higher on this list? Well, there are some of the rivals just seem to stick to me more. But emotionally, if this was an emotional list, just based on what I feel the emotions, then it would probably be Wally would be a lot higher. But just really thinking about everything made he earned a spot on the list, and he even earned it higher than Feud. But that's more the emotional feel he gives you. So that's pretty much it for Wally. Now on to number 3. Number 3 on this list is Blue from Pokemon Blue, Yellow, Red, Fire Red, and Leaf Green. Now, you're probably thinking, why is it Blue higher? Well, I literally thought about it, whether to put him higher. Yes, there's only 2 more after this. But then I thought the other 2 that are on this list just seem to give me a little bit of a more, I like more in different ways. Blue, he is just pure nostalgic, is why he's on this list. Now, I'm not saying he's a bad rival. He is good with his Pokemon selection. And he battles you in the end. That is another factor. You see it throughout the game, and yes, you can get some character traits from him, but he's the type that is more nostalgic. Now, there's one guy that didn't quite make the list that could have easily been, in Blue's place, but the reason I chose Blue was pure nostalgia. I mean, actually there's 2 that could have kind of easily been in his place if they were put together. But Blue does have the character traits of the 2 that I'm kind of talking about, but together, and he's nostalgic. So, I mean, I really do remember my first time playing it as a kid and feeling so good when I bet Blue. And now that I'm older, I realize it is pure nostalgic. Blue is a good trainer. And he's higher on the list, he's this high on the list because of pure nostalgia. That's pretty much all I have to say. He has this attitude to him that obviously isn't the greatest, but it's that attitude of nostalgia that got him at number 3. Now, on to number 2. Number 2 is Silver, from Gold, Silver, Crystal, Heart Gold, and Soul Silver. Well, actually, Heart Gold, Soul Silver specifically, because this is where I get more of the vibe, you know. Just like with Wally was in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. Now, you're probably thinking, why Silver over Blue? Well, he is similar in a way to Blue, but he has more character development. I mean, even in Gold and Silver and Crystal, more character development over Blue. Now, with Blue, all you see him as is a cocky perfectionist, right? That wants to beat you every time. Where with Silver, he is a badass. He steals his starter. He goes through a lot, like wanting to become stronger and the best, but he ends up learning that love is needed through you and through many other trainers. And he follows you to Kanto as well, so he doesn't just end after the Victory Road. He continues until he develops himself. In Heart Gold, Soul Silver, there's even a backstory to why Silver is the way he is. Him being Giovanni's son. It's been confirmed, as silly as it sounds, they don't think they developed it in Gold, Silver, and Crystal that way, but by Heart Gold and Soul Silver, they put that thought in. They fit it in, and I don't know if that was always their intentions, or if it just kind of said, okay, let's do this. It's even speculated that Ariana, one of the Team Rocket admins, might be his mother. She has the red hair, but I don't know. But he just, yes, he's partly nostalgic, but he has more of a character development feel to him. Blue just always is the same way. He almost never changes at all. Where Silver keeps developing, and he's also a very good rival. He sometimes has his weak moments, literally in battle, but he gets better. And sometimes you literally feel bad for beating him, but he also makes you feel good for beating him too, because he can be just that much of an ass at times. And there's a lot I could say about Silver, but I would take up the whole rest of the video that way. I just love him because he is a tough trainer, he has character development, he always looks at you as his rival. Several reasons. Silver, I keep saying Blue, I guess because I was talking about him in it. Silver is number 2 on this list, now on to number 1. Before I get to number 5, I have a couple honorable mentions that were referenced. They weren't really referenced, but they were somewhat referenced in number 3 with Blue. Now, they are Charon and Barry. Now, they both together would have, if they were both together, they would be a Blue. Charon is cocky and knows everything, and Barry just wants to get ahead of ya, so yeah, if their personalities were blended and mixed, they would pretty much be Blue. Now, Charon doesn't quite make the list. I mean, he would definitely make it over Bianca. She is not mentioned as a good rival at all. But, I mean, he just didn't quite make the cut. He is a lot better than Bianca, believe you me, but the rival that's going to be number 1 topped him in that category. And Barry, well, he is really good. He always wants to top you, and he has development, whatever, but the ones that I've mentioned on this list just top it a little bit more than Barry. So I apologize to Barry for not making this list, but he's made it in honorable mentions along with Sharon. So now definitely on to number 5. And the number 1 rival is Ed. I know. Remember what I said at the beginning. It's not all based on actual game rivals. I consider N the biggest rival of Black and White. Not Sharon or Bianca, I apologize. But he is definitely the rival. I mean, throughout the entire game, almost from the second town up, N keeps challenging you, wanting to see what it is that Pokemon feel about you. He thinks you're the chosen one, he thinks he's his opposite. And he treats you as such. I don't want to even talk about the little carousel ride. He gave me a bit of the wrong vibe, but besides the point, he's a character that was supposed to be the king of Team Plasma. And he keeps searching you out because he wants to know how trainers and Pokemon get along. And in the end, you have this epic battle. He's like, I gotta tell you, he's like one of the only rivals since Blue that you faced in the Elite Four area, the Pokemon League area. Only other one. And I'm not kidding you either. Yes, you faced some of your rivals in Victory Road just before the Elite Four, but he is the only other one next to Blue that you faced right at the end. Not only that, you battled legendary Pokemon. He has, unlike Blue, he has character development. Through the thing, he's going to be and listening to his father, oh, trainers are bad for Pokemon, let's release Pokemon, to really seeing how wrong his father's, I'm saying father's loosely because he was adopted, ways were. He ends up thanking you for teaching him the ways, and he ends it off. He literally ends the main game off. And yes, he isn't supposed to be considered the rival of the game, but I really think he has always been the rival of Black and White. You're opposite. You face ideals and truths. He develops the most almost of all the characters. Except for, well, I can't say except for Wally or Silver. Silver has developed quite a bit as well. But, he goes from being completely on Team Plasma's side to, in fact, he's the only rival to appear in a sequel. Yet he wasn't really a rival then, and he only appeared loosely. But he returned for Black and White too, as on the opposite of Team Plasma, another Team Plasma that's for good. And he faces his father that way, and he really changes through both games. Now, I know this seems like a cop-out in a way because he does seem obvious, and he isn't quite a actual rival, but to me, he has one of the most character development. He really treats you as his equal. And he is a very challenging trainer himself, including a legendary in his team in the very end. And what's more interesting about him is he uses different Pokemon each time you battle it. He releases some and uses different Pokemon. And that's what they call the Nuzlocke. N actually created the Nuzlocke. Get it? N? Nuzlocke? Huh? I do not know if N actually created the Nuzlocke, and Nintendo is making a salute to the Nuzlocke challenge. I don't know, but when you think about it that way, every time you see him, he has a different Pokemon on his team. Pretty much every time. The only Pokemon that is different, or that isn't different, is legendary Pokemon. But you've never battled it. You only battled the legendary once. But you know he has a legendary Pokemon because he caught it. So, the rest of his team has been different. Now, you see a salute to some of his team in Black and White too. And you can re-battle him after the main game, which is another thing. You can't battle him. And he has different teams depending on the weather. He has weather-based teams, but his Pokemon are the same each time battling that season. So, he gets a little better at keeping his Pokemon straight. But, I just think Ed is very unique, and yes, he wasn't meant to be a rival, but I still think he was better than the other rivals put together. Now, so far that was my list of the top 5 rivals in Pokemon, in my opinion. So again, this is my opinion, don't shoot me, please. I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!